We just put anything out there. We don't write a good CV. So you will see that your work, maybe your application is good, but your CV doesn't have the content. It doesn't hold much for admissions office to consider you. So you end up getting rejected. So a CV is, in short, a summary of all your academic, professional, and volunteer experience. And it is vital for admission office to give you an admission, because they are going to look at your application holistically. It's not just about the statement of purpose, or that you had a good grade, you had a good GPA, you are first class student or you are second class student, or your recommendation was good. No, it's not just about that. Sometimes you need to have a very good CV, and it's very, very critical for your application. So, how do you write CV? We have the academic CV, we have the work CV. So, today we are going to talk about the academic CV for graduate studies application. So, I'm going to share my screen now for those of you joining me on Zoom. I'm going to share my screen and let you know how a CV should look like. So, when you look at this CV that we have here, let me share my screen again. You know, So, a CV is very, very vital for your application. It has to contain every school you have attended. It has to contain your work experiences. It has to contain your volunteer work. It has to contain a research you've done. If you've done a research, it needs to be included in your CV. So it's very, very important that you write a very good CV, not just any kind of CV at all. You cannot use a CV that you used to apply for a job as a sales girl, or a job as a nurse, to apply for admissions. It's not going to work. You need to update it. And a CV is not something you write once when you need to do something. Something you need to update every single time. Every single time of your life, you need to be updating your CV. So it is important that you write a very good CV. It's very important that you write a very, very good CV. Give me some few minutes. Um, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen and it's not working. Um, Let me try it again. For those on Zoom, Okay. So I hope everyone on Zoom can see my screen. Yeah. So as I was saying, a CV is something that is very, very, very vital. No matter what school you are applying to, no matter what continent you are applying to, if you are applying for a graduate studies anywhere outside Africa, and even in some schools in Africa, you need to get a good CV. A good CV is important to you. You don't need all these kind of lines and colors that we try to add to a CV to make it look good. You don't need all those kind of stuff. So today I'm talking about a good CV. And as you can see on my screen, I have a sample of a CV that this is a template that I've been using to work on my own CV. So, this is what we are going to talk about today. The first thing you need to know is that when writing a CV, the first thing you need to do, the most important, is your name. Your name, your full legal name should be present on your CV. That's the first thing you need to do. Then you add in your address. Your address can be your street address, then your phone number, and your email address. They need to be valid. Your valid address, home address, permanent residency address, your phone number, and your email address. And one thing I'll always say is that your email address needs to be very professional. You cannot use nickname generated CVs. Sorry, email to put on your CV. It has to be a very well professionally acquired email address. You can't just put anything. This is an academic something. It's not you sending a message out there to your friend or sending something out there to your colleagues or your peers. So you always need to have a valid email address and not anything like just any nickname email or number email address. So that's the first thing you need to know. Okay, as I'm saying, those on Facebook, you can join it. I have the Zoom link in my post. If you are willing, you can join so that you can see what I'm doing here. Then, secondly, after your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address, the next thing you need to do is to put your education. Your education should start from the one that is current. So, for example, if you went to school, your undergraduate school was 2006, then in 2013, you went for another course or another program. What you need to do, you don't need to put it like 2006 first before 2013. No, 2013 needs to come first before 2006 would show. So the school you attended needs to be in that order, in order of the current one, and it should always start with the year the degree you earned. So if you went to school in 2006, you start with 2006, then the degree you earn should be bold. Then in the next line, that is where you have the name of your university and the location of the university, followed by what program you did. If you majored in something, you need to put it. I majored in communications and I minored in business administration. And the kind of thesis you did and who supervised you. Then your overall GPA. All needs to be there in order of education. So if you go to school in, let's say you went to University of Lagos or University of Ghana, the first thing is that the year comes, the program you did, then on the next line you have the university, the location of the university, the thesis you did. When we say thesis, is the research project you did, who supervised you, and then your GPA. So it should come in a chronological order this way. Secondly, if you received any scholarships, it should also be present, and the scholarship should come also according to the year, so from the current year to the previous year. It should not be from the previous year to the current year. You just need to write the name of the scholarship you received. You received government recognition scholarship. It should be government recognition scholarship. There's no need to explain maybe if there were 30 people who were chosen and out of that. No, there is no need for that. You just got a government or governor recognition scholarship. That is it. Secondly, we talk about your research experience, what you did during your research. What did you do? If you did any research whilst in undergraduate or even after completing school, what kind of research you did? You need to name the research, the time you did it. If it was summer, it was winter, it was fall, you need to mention it, the department or the um organization in which you perform that research, what kind of department it is. If you did it in a school, or you did your research in a university or a hospital, what happens is that maybe you did your research in the emergency department. So the emergency department will come, then the name of the hospital is going to show. Then when you did it, the year is going to come after that. Then you tell us your responsibilities. Your responsibilities should not be more than 4 bullet points. It, even three is fine. If you have 3 bullet points, it's okay. You tell us what you did. You assisted. You just don't say you collected data. There are certain keywords that are important, like assisted, facilitated, oversaw. All these words are important in writing your CV. You just don't say I conducted. What do you mean by conducted? You cannot do a research. At that time you didn't have the required knowledge or all the knowledge to do the research yourself. So you assisted someone in doing it. So you need to show all those kind of stuff. Then if you tell us your research experience, remember you have already told us your education experience, any scholarships you may have won. If you don't have any scholarship, it doesn't matter. You can take that off. If you don't have any research experience, you can take it off. Then you tell us about your teaching experience. If you have some, remember this is a graduate program that you are applying to, and it's two things. It's either you do a research or you teach as part of your scholarship. So, if you don't have a research experience and you have a teaching experience, it is better you put that one on your CV, because it's going to help admissions officers or people who are collecting all admissions know what you are, know that you have a lot of things that you can offer the school. So if you don't have a teaching experience, you have a research experience, even if it's for a month, a week, 2 weeks, you need to still put that on your CV. And for those of you who are in undergraduate now or who are home and are contemplating when to apply, you can start doing some voluntary research. You can start to go to hospitals, go to research centers, or anywhere, even schools. You can go there and teach for free, because you need that experience on your CV to help you with your admissions. It's not always about the money. You can go and volunteer to a school close by you that, oh, well, I want to teach these people English for a month. I don't mind if you don't pay me. Or I want to teach these people for 2 weeks. I want to teach them mathematics. I want to teach psychology. I want to teach social studies. You can just volunteer to get that experience. Most of us, that's what we did, because in Africa you don't really get the opportunity to involve yourself in research that much. So when there is an opportunity or when there's a room for you to volunteer, please do, so that you can add it to your CV. It's not, or it shouldn't always be about the money. From there, when you talk about your research and your teaching experience, what you need to talk about again is your professional experience. Professional experience is what you did after completion of your degree, or even before completion of your degree. If there are any experiences you have, you need to put that on your CV. Maybe you went to school for journalism, then after school you did some internship. Internship can count as a professional experience. National service can count as a professional experience. So you need to tell us where you did your national service experience, where you had those professional experiences, the position you held during that time, where you did it, the place, the department, the location, and the year. Then you need to tell us the responsibilities, the things you did. So you need to have like three. I always say three. Three is good. If you have three responsibilities, you observe, you assisted, you conducted, you help, you facilitated. All these are words that you can use to tell us about your responsibilities when you were practicing. You were a nurse, you assisted in laying bed, you assisted in serving medications, you assisted in discharge counseling, journalist, you assisted in conducting interviews, you assisted in getting information out there. Anything you did during your professional experience, even if you're a mechanic, for example, you were applying for something related engineering and you had some mechanic experience, you can add it. It's also a professional experience, so you need to add all those kind of stuff to it. As I said earlier, yes, and you can see over there you have your professional experience. Internship is also part. Then you have your campus involvement in your studies, in your undergraduates. What involvement or what facilities and what groups did you were you part of? What groups were you part of? If you were part of the Student Council, if you were part of the African Union, Yoruba Union, whatever union or whatever group you were part of, your responsibilities. If you were a member, what was your responsibilities? Even as a member of a group, you still have responsibilities. So you can't say that I was just a member, I didn't do anything. No, you had responsibilities. So you need to enrich your CV with all those stuff. And if you are, let's say you're applying for masters or PhD and you have a publication back home, you can also add your publication to your CV. You can add presentations. You went for conferences, you went for workshops, whatever you did, you can add it to your CV. And professional affiliations. When we say professional affiliations, for example, you are a nurse or you are a doctor or an engineer. In every country, there is a governing body for every profession. I know in Ghana we have the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Association. If you are a nurse and you are registered and you have a license in your country, it means you are part of that association. So you need to add that professional affiliation. You need to show that yes, I'm part of this group. Aside that, there may be other professional affiliations that you are part of that may not be nationally recognized, but you are still part of it. So you need to also put that in your CV. You need to put it in your CV. And then you come to the last part, which is references. Your references are important. You need to get about 3 to 4 people who can speak of your CV, who can say, yes, she was in Lagos, yes, he was in Abuja. So you cannot just put anything and say that yeah, that's it. No, your wherever you went to work, wherever you had your experience, there should be people there that you can put in your CV. So if people want to contact them, if admissions office wants to contact them and ask, well, this person said he worked here 2012 and 2013. So how how was his work? How was his experience? What was your experience working with him? What was your experience working with him? You have to have people that can testify that yes, he was here, he was hardworking, he made an impact, all those kind of things. You need people that would testify to your experience. So you need 3 to 4 people. You can have one person from your university where you schooled. You can have another person from where you worked, where you volunteered. You can have even your pastor, somebody of high authority in your community can also be a reference on your CV. It's not just a professional something. It's not just about the profession or anything like that. You need people who can reference you, who can attest to the fact the community that you are in and the services you provide, your conduct in the community. If you have an elder in the community, if you have a pastor, a malam, a teacher, whoever, they can be on your CV to testify that yes, you are really part of them. So now, there are certain things that you can put on your CV. As I've said before, You can put your certifications. Like, for example, you did some courses, you did first aid courses and you got the certificates for it. You can put that on your CV. You took some courses from Coursera, from Allison, from Kaya. You can put that on your CV. You have license, like you have a license in engineering, you have a license in journalism, license in nursing, doctorate license. You can put that on it. If you did any community service in your community, maybe every month you gather students, you gather children, you teach them something every month. That's what you do. Or you gather people and talk to them about their health every month. You can put that on it. If you attended seminars and workshop, you can also put that on it. And your proficiency in software and computer technology. It's not always about, for me, I don't know how to type. If you don't know how to type, please start learning it now. If you don't know how to type, but you are going to start graduate studies next year, next 2 years, any subsequent year, please start learning how to do that. You can learn that. I know there used to be one software that you could learn how to type, um, Mavis Beacon. Yeah, you can get that and start learning it. You can learn how to use Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Sheets, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Word. You can learn any coding language like SAS, R. You have to start learning all those kind of things. And any service that you have provided, like your national service, you went for national service, you went for corps, or I don't know the name in Nigeria very well. You went for that, and even aside your main work as a corps member, you did something different to serve. You can also put that on your CV. And any fellowships, like you are Christian, you are Muslim, any fellowships that you belong to, it can also be on your CV. So all these things enrich your CV. All these things can enrich your CV. So please, if you are doing them, don't say, I'm doing them. I did something like this, but I forgot. No, the moment you do something like that, you get a book, or you get on your laptop, your computer, then you type in that you did this. So next time when you are updating your CV, you can just put all those things in it. So now, what are some of the words that you can use on your CV? There are certain words you cannot use, no matter what. You cannot use those words. But then let's say you were doing something related to communication, you were teaching people, you you can use words like translated, wrote, spoke, published, persuaded. You can use authored. You can use convinced, documented. These are words that you can use. If you did something related to creativity, like you created a group, you did something good, you establish something, what you can do is you can write conceived, designed, instituted, originated, performed. You can use developed, introduced, you can use plan. These are words that you can use when you created something. When you manage something, like you did business and something related to business, and you were managing a group, you were managing a financial services, what you can do is you can use words like administered, analyzed. You can use appointed, attained, consulted, delegated, prioritized, organized, scheduled, supervised. These are managerial words that you can use on your CV. If you organize something, you were doing some organization work, you were approving budgets, you were part of an organization and you did something, you can say purchased, operated, distributed, collected. You can use words like prepared, you implemented something, or you validated something, or you processed something, or you classify something. These are all words that you can use on your CV. So you see that writing a CV, you cannot just use any words. You can not throw words here and there that you are doing. The words that you use need to be original. They need to make academic sense. If you did something related to research, you can say examined, inspected, reviewed. You can use words like interpreted. You can use words like modified, research, calculated, conducted. You can use words like organized, summarized. If you did something related to data collection, you can say you surveyed something, or you evaluated something, or you collected some data, or you diagnosed something. These are words that you use when you did something related to teaching. If you worked with teaching, you can say advised. You advise your students to do this, you analyze students' results, you accepted corrections here and there. These are words you can use. You apply this, you categorize this, you appraised. So writing a CV is not just about the experience, it also has to be about the words you use. Because one thing, let me tell you one secret. One secret you don't know is that in um applying for jobs, and even sometimes applying for schools, there is a system that would capture words. So, if let's say, for example, the company you are applying to is a management um, organization, and they want CVs that have words like assigned, designated, evaluated. They are going to pull all the CVs together, and the CVs that contain such words like formulated, recruited, delegated, assigned, administered, they are going to pull them out. So that's what they'll do. They'll sieve them out from the many CVs. So if 1,000 people apply and 40 people use such words, they are those that are going to be screened for the next stage. Maybe their CV may not be powerful, but because they use such words, they have an advantage over you whose CV may be good. So that's why you need to learn all these words. These words are really important, not just for academic work, but for even for your professional work. If you are applying for jobs outside your country and you are asked to bring a CV, these are the kind of things that you need to know. So it's very, very important. Um, Someone asked a question on Facebook. Says, under certification, will you advise someone to include certificate he or she doesn't have? If you don't have a certificate, please don't include it. If it's in the process, or you are in the process of getting that certificate, you need to establish that you are in the process. But if you don't have it at all, or you are not taking steps to getting it, please don't put it in your CV. Don't at all, unless you are going to get it in years time or in a month time. But then you have started, you are taking the courses for it, then you can put it there. But then you need to indicate that it is not something that you have done. You are going to have it. Any more questions? Does anybody have any question? Okay, someone wants to join. Let me. Okay, someone wants to join on Facebook. Yeah, so as I said, if you are not doing the program, if you don't have the certificate and you're not taking steps towards getting it, there is no need for you to add it to your CV. That is perjury. It is an offense, and that can get you banned from ever coming to school, or ever getting admission anywhere, or ever getting an employment anywhere in the world. So don't do that unless you are going to get it. um any more questions on Zoom? Let me see. um Zoom. Yes, okay, someone is asking from Zoom, do I need to use lines? No, you don't need to. The way we write CVs and then we use lines or tables to demarcate, there is no need for that. There is no need for such thing. You just need you just need to write what you have to write. There's no need for lines, there's no need for colors. Your font should always be Times New Roman. It should be 12. Your the where you work, the name of the place you worked, the name of your university, the year should always be bold. Then the position you held and the year you work should always be in italics. It should always be in italics. You cannot just write anything and leave it as that. It should always be, for those of you on Zoom, you can see over here that the year or the kind of course you got, the degree you earned is in italics. The name, the title of your thesis is in italics. The name of your university should not be in bold, but then the department in which you were should be in italics. The kind of job you did should be in italics. The job description should be in italics. Your responsibilities, the word responsibility should be in italics, but the sentence you write after that should not be in italics. It should be in plain words. It should come in bullet points. 3 bullet points. You are fine. You are good to go. So that is the little I have to say. No need for graduated lines, no need for colors anywhere. It should always be professional. This is how a professional CV should look like. And it should always have one margin. The margin between what you did and your responsibility should always be one. The font size should be 12, and the font type should always be Times New Roman. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah. So that's the little I have to say about it. And one thing you should always know is that when you're writing your CV, it should always come in multiple drafts so that you can always go back when you there's one is missing, you always have different other ones that you can go to, and you always need to show your CV to people to critique it and tell you what is wrong or what is good, what you should take out, what you shouldn't take out. You need to find people who would do that for you. Always check your spellings and your sentencing, your abbreviation. Know the words that you can abbreviate. If you went to school in University of Lagos, you cannot write Unilag. No, this is an academic CV. You write University of Lagos. As simple as that. And also, you, as I said earlier, you need to spell check, you need to look at the spellings, you need to look at the verbs that you are using. You also need to save drafts, and also um, keep on updating your CV all the time. It is important that you update your CV all the time. So this is the little for today. If there are no more questions, um I will end it here. If you need a full video of what I just talked about, it's going to be on my YouTube channel. I would post the link very soon. So you can go back and look at the words and look at the formatting I'm talking about, the format I am talking about. So you can use it to update your CV, because application season is open. It's open for everybody. If you don't apply this year, start preparing so that by next year you can apply. Can I include links on my CV? Yes, you can include a LinkedIn link on your CV. If you have a LinkedIn account, you can include that on your CV. Or you have a website that summarizes everything about you, you can put it on your CV. But then you have to remove the link. Otherwise, it's going to show blue over there. And that link should always come after your name, your permanent address, your phone number, your email address. Then the link will come. But then that hyperlink should be removed from that side. Yeah, should be removed. Okay. Any more questions? Mm, those on Zoom? Anyone? No more questions on Zoom. No more questions on Zoom. So, every day we are going to talk about something new to prepare you for your application for graduate studies. So today we talked about CV. Tomorrow, next week, Thursday, we are going to talk about recommendation letters. How you can draft some, because sometimes your recommender will say, "Oh, I don't have time, so just draft it for me," or "I don't know what to say." So you can draft something. I'll look at it and then I would make the corrections and submit. We are going to talk about how to draft recommendation letters, or if they write a recommendation letter and they want you to review it, what are the things you should look out for when you are reviewing a recommendation letter that is meant for you or meant for somebody, or what are the requirements when you are recommending somebody. It's not always that somebody is going to recommend you. Sometimes you will have to recommend someone yourself. So we are going to talk about that next week, Thursday. Recommendation letters, how to recommend people, how to draft a recommendation letter, the things you need to look out for, what you should do and what you should not do. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining today. I hope you have a nice evening. Bye bye.